Good morning everyone. What a beautiful autumn day. So the project of this morning is to find and fix an oil leak on the Rideon. It's quite hard to see in this photo, but there's quite a lot of oil and grease built up around the bottom of the engine here. First thing we need to do is clean all that off so that we can actually find out where the oil leak is coming from. So what I've got here is some degreaser, and we're going to spray that on. My bottle's just about empty, and then I'm going to get the pressure wash out and pressure wash this all to get nice and clean. There we go, cleaned all that mess up. Be able to see now where the oil leak comes from. Obviously with the engine going, it actually blasts a whole lot of air down over everything, so pushing the oil over everything, so you can't actually see where it's leaking from. Anyway, that's a good start, and we'll now let that dry off, and let's then see if we can find where the oil leak is from. So I ran the Rideon for only about 5 minutes, and quite quickly found out the leak was actually coming from the governor shaft that goes into the engine, and that's just a small seal that needs to be replaced. So I've got a genuine Kawasaki part, oil seal, so that's part number 29049-701, and so we're going to install that to stop this oil leak. So looking at the governor shaft there, it is actually got a flat spot on the top, so it's keyed, and so we shouldn't have to do anything other than unbolt that one bolt there and pull that whole thing off. It can just sit there, and then I can get at the seal which is behind it back there, which is the one that's leaking. So that looks pretty straightforward, so let's get into it and get that governor shaft off. Well, that was a bit of a struggle, but I have got the governor off. There's that slipped off. That's off that there. That little bolt. Oh no, very hard. It's not any size at all, really. Right, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to drill into the seal, and then put a screw in it to pull it out. I think that screw is a little bit big. So I did drill a hole in it and then use a screw, but it didn't get very far. It sort of mangled it, but I'm able to get the pick in there and pull it out like that, and so I've been able to get the seal out now, so that's good. So that's done, and now we'll get the new one in. So I've got the new seal in there. So basically I pushed it on, and then I used a socket to go over top of it and tap it in. So that worked quite well. So it's in there now. Now it's just about getting the governor back on. That should be pretty straightforward. Oh, they got that bolt free. It is actually 10mm. I just checked that. So That should make it easier putting the bolt back on and we know what spanner to use. Awesome. Well, I got the seal all wrapped up last night, so that's good to go. But I noticed while I was leaning on this fire, this is actually a flat tyre. So I quickly whipped out to the shed and got the one of the spare tyres from the other Rideon we had, and I'm going to swap that out, and then she should be all good to go. Right, so it's been a week since we replaced the oil seal in the front by the governor, and I'm pleased to say that air has worked well. There's no oil leaking at there at all, so that's awesome. So we're going to continue on now. We know that's fixed. I'm going to do a bit of a service on the old girl. Change the oil and the air and fuel filter as well. So I picked up this kit for about 30 New Zealand dollars from AliExpress. Now, unfortunately, the local store that sells these oil filters, I mean, they generally cost about $45, which is more than what you would pay for a car oil filter. So it's a bit ridiculous. So even though I like to support local people and local businesses, the pricing of some of the stuff is getting ridiculous. I mean, the air filter costs about $60, I believe, and I got the whole lot: an air filter, oil filter, fuel filter, and 2 new spark plugs for $30. So, you do have to shop around a bit, and I don't mind paying a little bit more sometimes for local, but it gets ridiculous when the cost can be like 3 times the cost of what you would buy from a place like AliExpress. Anyway, I've just been riding the Rideon around, so everything's nice and warm and hot. Now the oil filter is here and the oil drain is here, so basically we can put a hose on there, drain it out and undo that, and I'll get that drained out, and that'll get the oil out, undo the oil filter. Generally you make a mess, there's nothing you can do about that. Air filter's in here, so it's pretty easy. Just one clip, undo that, put the air filter on. Now the fuel filter's here, and I don't think I've ever changed that in the whole time. I've had this in 12 years, so that probably definitely needs to be changed. Right, let's get into it. Right, so I've got my star drive here. Now some of you are probably wondering why I'm actually maintaining this and keeping this Rideon going since I've got my robot lawnmower, and that's a fair question. The main reason really is that you still need some sort of mower even if you've got a robot lawnmower. Like we still need to do down our driveway, which is about 150 metres, and out the front by the road. I still need to mow that, and I can't get the robot down there. It doesn't, it won't reach in respect of the Wi-Fi signal from the house. It needs to be in range of that. Well, in range of the base station, and I think the base station has got a limit, so it's too far. Plus it's always good you can go around and do edges. The robot doesn't do so good on the edges because it doesn't have the suck, the volume of air that you get, and so it doesn't suck up the edges, and so you got to do the edges quite often with the weed eater. But it's also good to run around with the mower every now and then and do those edges. It picks it up as well. So there's still definitely a a good reason to have a mower as well as your robot. Even if I got a small place and have a little hand mower, I still think it's worth it. You probably don't use it very much. So I'm trying to keep this lawnmower going as long as I can. What I really want to do is replace it with a electric one. There are electric Rideons. Ryobi make 3 or 4 different models at the moment, but unfortunately they don't make one with a catcher. I would prefer still to buy a robot. I would still prefer to buy an electric lawnmower with a catcher on it if I can. I don't really want to. I mean, they've got, I think, three models that you can buy, but no catcher. So, and if at the end of the day, if that's all I can get in a couple of years' time, well, that's all I can get. But that'll be fine. The other thing we use Rideon for is to take the rubbish out. We have a little trailer that we put behind it, and we tow the rubbish out once a week down to the end of our driveway. And so it's another job that it does. So, and obviously that's one of the reasons why I put the power point in the little shed where the Rideon sits, so that in future when we do get electric mower, that we'd be able to charge it. It's draining out nicely. Whoa! Mistake. As soon as I undid that, obviously let more out. Clearly the hose doesn't stay down, it just wants to straighten up. Prepare to make a mess is what I always say when you're doing oil changes. And we'll wind this off. Of course it just does make a mess everywhere. Nothing you can do about that one. While it's training, we'll place the air filter, which is right here.
There's always gonna be another day. Don't let the world get you down. In just a moment, yeah, your luck can change. Lift your feet off of the ground. Let the beat take you up, feel the love as it's running through your blood. When we touch, turn it up till you just can't get enough. We're all young, have some fun. You and me, baby. Ooh, baby. We can slow dance naked in the moonlight. We can get so down, wasted out of our minds until
Fuel filter's just down here.
we're happy. Whether it's good or it's
What a mess.
bad or it's wrong or it's right, yeah, we
Didn't think about that, how low it actually sat
until we're happy.
compared to the fuel tank. Mental note for everyone who's watching. Don't replace your fuel filter if you've got too much fuel in your thing and it's above the level of, above the height of the fuel filter. Right, job done. Right, tighten this up. Right, so the spark plug gap is 0.75 millimeters or 0.03 of an inch. That's pretty common. So last thing we're going to do is put some, put the oil in. Can't forget the oil. So it basically says when you change the filter, it's 2.1 litres, so pretty much down to there. So The last thing we'll do is write the date on the oil filter. We know when we changed it. It's probably not going to get a lot of use in the next year, so it'll probably be a couple of years before I do it again. It says every 100 hours sort of thing, but I won't be doing 100 hours when it doesn't get used very much. Well, that was pretty simple, easy job to do as a bit of servicing on the Rideon. So everything I've shown today I think is pretty straightforward stuff that any good DIY person could do. Anyway, thanks for watching, catch you next time, please subscribe.